you then go into the pillage and looting phase. And that truly becomes I enter the city, I'm running through the streets of the city, breaking down doors, burning down houses, literally stealing stuff from people, breaking open their barrels, and all sorts of crazy stuff. There's public quests in here. There's all sorts of other quests that you can go on. There's 2 or 3 dungeons underneath the city that you can go and adventure in. There's the palace where you can go and attack the king. There's lots and lots of stuff to do here. As we can, and there's certain times that we can do this, we'll shut down instances. In other words, as these other instances empty out and new players are entering, they'll come into the main city, if you will. Does that make sense? So we try to then slowly start to shut down the instances. Okay? Answer your guys' question. I keep going. So the capital city in general, the pillage and looting phase lasts for a certain amount of time. We don't want the winners to win.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, we're ready now? Okay. So, generally, the city is in this pillage phase for, let's say, 12 hours. Could it be longer? Yes. Could it be shorter? Yes. We're still working out what the best amount of time is. So, during that phase, the attackers are running around, killing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, but they have a short amount of time to do it. Once that time is up, the defenders, this gate back here, opens back up, and the defenders can come in to recapture their city. That's pretty much how it works.
But the
Go ahead.
defenders cannot prevent the attackers from pillaging the main area in the center.
Sure they can, by winning in this area.
No, that's clear, but they can't come in the next area when they have lost.
No. The winners have a definitive win point. I win. Get the hell out. It's not your city anymore. Now I have an opportunity to run around and have a jolly old time in your city. So during that phase, the defenders are out. They've lost. Okay?
Is there a set number of money so you can actually win? Because, say for example, you can come in, you can pillage, and does it sort of like resets?
Some of it does, some of it doesn't. There's certain things. There's certain things that as the attacker who is there at the moment that the gates fall, who has worked so hard to do this stuff, there are certain things that are only there once within the city to pillage. So I can go in and I can break certain things and kill certain things and do certain encounters and kill certain monsters, and they'll never respawn. So I get the benefit of being the first one in the city. Then there are other things that do respawn that you can do over and over again. And those are for the people, not only who help to break down the gates, but those are for the people who log in 5 hours later and go, oh my god, we captured the city! And then they can run in and they can partake in that now. So that's why we keep the city captured for an extended period of time. So those people who log in the morning and see that the Dwarven capital city is captured can go in and try to attack the king and do conquest. We want to give as much fun to as many people as we possibly can. But we also want to benefit the guys who actually did all the work. More questions?
You got raiding for the masses, meaning World of Warcraft has like level instances where you've got 20 people, they go in and they fight the boss.
Sure.
And it takes them sometimes weeks to actually learn the encounters and finally get to the final boss and get some good items from it. I've been talking to obviously the Canadian and some of these guys, and they feel they won't move from World of Warcraft because they don't know they have that facility in World of Warcraft, like Warhammer.
Right.
Is there anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a hard thing for us to trumpet because other games do that so well. It's not something that we target as a distinguishing feature for ourselves. Our distinguishing features are things like RVR, public quests, Tome of Knowledge, trophies, how we do career development, that kind of stuff.
But they does exist.
So it does exist, and I can tell you a little bit about what that means to us. So there are both PvE and RVR type, and I don't want to call them raids because we don't believe in that. Generally, we don't believe in that. Get giant amounts of people together in a big PvE environment and go kill a monster. If you want to do something with a lot of your friends that takes a lot of hard work and that is very rewarding over a large amount of time, go RVR. That's what the campaign is all about. Now, that being said, we have a couple of really cool high-level dungeons. For example, the Lost Vale, the Gaian Vale, in the Dark Elf and High Elf pairing. Nobody's seen it yet. It's not even released to our beta testers. It's a super high-level dungeon. It's designed for let me take a step back. Almost all of the encounters in PvE that we do are designed for one group. We don't believe in the let's get 20 people or 40 people together and put together some big raid to go do stuff. Generally, there are exceptions to that rule. So the Gaian Vale is a 6-man dungeon, okay? But it's also a super duper hard dungeon that takes progression to get through. So for example, by starting out in PvE in the Bastion Stair or Mount Gunbad, which are 2 other dungeons that we have, you're able to work your way through getting armor sets, building your progression and power up, which then allows you to go to the dungeons either underneath your capital city or underneath your enemy's capital city, thereby gaining access to more progression. And when I say progression in general, above level 40 for PvE players, that progression is new armor sets. We have 23 armor sets per career in our game. So you can start gaining access to your first armor set at about level 6. There's an armor set in PvE and RVR in Tier 1. There's 1 in Tier 2. There's, I think, 2 in Tier 3. And there's a whole bunch in Tier 4 and above. So as a PvE player, your progression above level 40 comes in that form of continual stat increases from armor sets. So going to Gunbad, going to Bastion Stair gets you kind of that first progression at level 40. Then there's 2 or 3 dungeons underneath your capital city and underneath your enemy's capital city. These are high-level dungeons that help you in your progression through the game and into the Lost Vale. The Lost Vale being probably the highest PvE experience outside of the capital city king that you can get in our game. Does that make sense? So, as a PvE player, if you don't want to come and do all this crazy RVR stuff, you can continue to progress your character in lots and lots of ways through 4 or 5 different dungeons until you get to the Lost Vale and can do even more stuff there. Now, remember, once you get through this initial RVR push within the capital city, this becomes an interesting mix of both RVR and PvE within the capital city. You look at the King Encounter. The King Encounter is one of the biggest exceptions to the rule of 6-man. It's a 24-man instance. The King is designed as the highest level, most difficult encounter in our game. In order to be successful with the King, you need to either be really good, progress through the PvE game, in other words, going through Bastion Stair, going through the city dungeons, and then going through Lost Vale so that you are in the best gear in the game in some mad hope that you can defeat the Emperor Karl Franz at some point. It's going to be tough. Now, the other side of that coin is we have RVR progression, the same type of thing. So, as you make your way through the game, dependent upon how you're doing in RVR, in other words, dependent upon your renown rank, dependent upon who you kill and how you kill them, because there's a lot of different dependencies, you can gain armor sets in RVR also. Now, RVR is a little bit different than PvE in that you can continue your progression in RVR based not only upon armor sets, but also upon renown rank. So, renown above and beyond giving you access to items also gives you renown abilities, which gives you stat increases, which gives you new tactics, which really increases your power in a lot of ways. It's an RVR game. We believe very seriously in rewarding the players through RVR. So, you can progress through multiple armor sets in RVR also. By killing keep lords, by killing enemy players, there's a lot of different loot that comes from that. So, some of the renown-based loot is on stores. By simply reaching a certain renown rank, you can go to Renown Merchant, and you can say, I want my boots, and I want my gloves, and I want my hat. But there are things in RVR that don't come from stores. For example, if you want a breastplate at the level you're at, you need to go kill keep lords. Keep lords carry breastplates, and they drop from every keep lord. Keeps are PQs, so just like you guys kind of played around in yesterday, hopefully, with public quests and hopefully saw the cool loot kind of system that we have in there, keeps work the same way. So you kill a Keeper Lord with chest drops from the sky.